the POC trap, scaling AI products in financial service. Well, you already know Olga from this morning, if you were here this morning. And I just leave you because, like the time is already running. Yeah. You're welcome.
Awesome. You are the hardy bunch that survived to the end. Congratulations.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. This works. So, good afternoon. Every person in this room have been told that AI is the future of financial services by now, and probably multiple times throughout the day. But to be really honest, a lot of projects and initiatives are stuck in a lab. And we've seen it all. We've seen the brilliant demos, successful proof of concept runs that end with silence and business as usual. When it comes to transforming the organization, there is a lot of work still ahead of us. So my name is Olga Tsubiks. I'm the Director of Data and AI Product Strategy and Innovation at RBC Wealth Management, where I also lead the Innovation Incubator. And my role involves bridging the gap between what could be, what will be, and what actually gets done. And today, I want to talk to you not just about AI, but about industrializing it. How can we escape the proof of concept trap and make the real impact for our organizations? So why do successful proof of concepts fail? According to MIT research, 95% of Gen AI projects fail to deliver clear returns on investments. So they didn't fail. They're feasible, they're successful, they're running, but they're not proving the ROI. So this research from 2025 identified that it's not necessarily due to the fact that something was wrong with the math or the model. It's often because they failed to overcome the financial, organizational, or technological hurdles that were on the way to proving that business value. So how do you know that you are in what they call pilot purgatory? You are stuck in the proof of concept phase. They defined 3 clear characteristics of that. The first one is the science project syndrome. So it looks impressive, it does the work, but it is not tied to your organization's P&L. The second one is the integration wall, which is an important one that's often overlooked. This is when the AI solutions are added on, they're not built in. So to give you an example, let's look at mortgage processing. We are giving an employee an AI assistant that allows them to load a file, it summarizes it, it may even extract information that otherwise would take time to find and simplifies the life for that person. So they don't have to scan through a lot of unfamiliar documents to pull the right numbers so that they're able to process it. So it is helpful, but oftentimes this is where it ends today. After they receive that summary or the data, they often have to go and add it to the actual real system, that workflow, which it doesn't matter which role they're really, within the organization. So that's what the integration wall. So if you think about the projects that your organization is running or those that you are delivering yourself, there are symptoms to that that you could kind of tell you that's probably us. So number 1, you have a button. And that button is called Launch AI. AI summary generated, or any button like that. You have lack of context awareness. So your AI doesn't know what the employee was doing before they came to the assistant tool or what happened after. Did they succeed, there is this lack of concept and lack of end-to-end workflow. And the final, which I kind of mentioned already, you are not going to that last leg. It does not do what actually needs done, and that's where your organization really does its business. That's where it functions. And the third symptom here is shadow cost of trust. It is a buzzword, but it's an important one to mention because there is an intensive human oversight, and we've discussed a lot of that in the panel before and throughout the day. So if you are creating an AI that you spend millions of dollars on creating, that then requires highly paid workforce to verify and fact-check those outputs, did you really generate the ROI, or did they get eaten up with all the fact-checking that you had to do? So this, all three, or maybe some of those only, are the ways to realize that you are still in proof of concept. You are not transforming the organization. You are hopefully on a journey there, and completing the last leg and overcoming the integration wall is really what I'm here to talk about. So, and that's where the innovation incubator comes in, but a very different innovation. It's that safe to experiment zone, but very different from a traditional R&D lab. So what you're looking at is real business needs and real business problems, and solving them. How would you solve them with AI? That allows you to quickly filter. So the innovation incubator becomes your filter where you sift through AI ideas, use cases, and things you could be doing to see which ones actually contribute to your bottom line and make a transformational difference to your organization. In this space, you are also an important point to focus is that you need to make sure that every idea, every AI use case you're working on is tied to a real pressing business need. Why are we doing this? What does it do? Because if it doesn't, at the end of the day, somebody is going to ask you a simple question. What does it mean for me? We have signups. We are tracking the number of people who are using AI. We are tracking the number of people who are generating documents or doing things with it, but how does it translate into our business's outcomes? And that's going to throw you back to your drawing board, figuring out what that ROI actually is and how do we track it. And if you build a system that's not tied to your real KPIs, that is not involved in your actual business, then you have lack of stakeholder interests. And that's why you are still in proof of concept. People that should have been part of that process that you were innovating for, be it client onboarding, processing a claim, it doesn't really matter. If you deliver the AI to them, they will see a different way to implement it, or they may not find a way to actually integrate it within their system. So those are important parts of the innovation incubator and the benefit that it brings. So the key fundamental problem that we are also seeing of why AI is stuck in that and not being scaled across the organization or ROIs are not met, is the focus on tasks and ideas that were directly in front of us. AI initiative rolled out within the organization. We were asked to do AI. We brainstormed. We quickly saw some low-hanging fruits, and we started with whichever felt like the one that we could tackle right away. So what you often see is summaries, transcriptions, and things like that. While they're a good place to get started, you should keep a long-term horizon. What is it that we are trying to do? How are we envisioning our organization? What is that final transformation that we want to see? Because if you know where you're going, you'll get there a lot faster. So focus on agentic workflows, not just what AI can say, but what AI can do. That is the one piece that kept a lot of those financial institutions and AI projects that we're working on in the MIT study from achieving that last mile. Look for ways to establish acceptance where the project is taken down, it's terminated. 6 months in, we didn't see results. It works, but it doesn't do what we need it to do. So we're going to take it off, and we're going to work more on it to improve it. How do we scale? That's another place where a lot of projects get stuck. While we are in proof of concept, we work on smaller data sets with a smaller subset of users, with a narrower scope. So when it comes to going to production and really scaling it across the organization, not always, but sometimes you hear, oh, we've maxed out the tokens, or we actually can't give a license to every single person that wants to get a license. And we didn't think to bake it in from the very beginning. So think about how you're going to scale your infrastructure across the entire organization from the start. Think about how you're going to integrate it within your existing processes, and if you have to recreate your legacy processes with the AI, not building on top of that. And how are you going to production harden? How are you going to make sure that there are no security vulnerabilities? And how would you work through that while it's still in POC stage, so you don't go out and start thinking about all of those happening? So we talked about data lineage today, and I'm going to skip some of that here, but built in the data lineage, built in the regulatory readiness. People that work and are part of Innovation Incubator, they don't have to be AI engineers only. It should be the governance people. It should be your data owners, people that are responsible for the foundations on which you're building your AI, including your business leads that are understanding the processes that you are transforming. So it has to be a partnership with the risk and compliance, as we talked about in the panel this morning. You have to build all of that in so that you can move fast. And it's a lot about culture. Success of AI projects is not only about the model, it's not only about the technology, and what they call is 10-20-70 rule. If you haven't read about it, you can Google it, or AI it now. So what it is success in AI is 10% the model, 20% the technology, and 70% the people. It's how your organization is structured, it's how your teams collaborate, how the decisions around what gets implemented and what doesn't work, and how all of it is playing together, including data literacy programs, including AI champions, and everything in between. It's really sophisticated, complex, transformational project that has to happen all across the organizations to empower team to deliver really meaningful value for the whole organization. So with that, finally to the cocktail hour. To summarize, stop running the science project, the impressive AI demos. Focus on incubating integrated, value-driven projects that are part of your organization's workflow. So if you're thinking about what AI use case should I work on next, stop and think, how does our company operate? How do we make money? And what should I transform with AI? Who can I partner with who really understands that? And what would I learn from them? And prioritize the culture and governance as much as technology right from the start. And with that, thank you. Oh, if you have any questions, I'm here. Please come over and chat with me. You can just wrap it up.
It's not working. Okay. Thank you, Olga. That was really good.